Welcome back to ICCCon and the collective.
It was so
Podcast.
much better in
That's
rehearsal.
okay.
I tell you, when that camera goes on, you see people just get nervous and tongue-tied. You said it perfectly all day.
So without further explanation, this is maybe why I'm stuttering over my words a little bit. Our esteemed guest, Anthony Daniels.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, yeah.
Incredibly honored, especially since I just finished, last week I finished your fantastic book.
My what?
Your book.
No, there was another word.
Fantastic
Thank
book.
you. I just,
And I opted for the audio version, which
Oh,
you
yeah.
narrate
Yes.
so amazingly. And I read it in 2 days. I couldn't stop.
Oh, that's really nice. What was weird about doing the audio recording, I thought it would be a walk in the park because I'd written the script. But actually, it was very different from writing the script on a thing on a computer and kind of all right going through it. But suddenly, like you, when that microphone goes live and the editor there is going, you go. Oh, stop, and I think I spent 4 days doing that, and it was a killer, so I'm really glad you liked it. And of course the thing with the audiobook is that I can drop in and out of C-3PO's voice live, suddenly I'm describing a scene and 3PO walks in and said, "Where are you going?" "Well, what makes you think that so on," and the guys in the booth are laughing and all that kind of thing.
Not only C-3PO's voice, I thought you did a stellar George Lucas impression.
Oh, that's fine. Well, it's not hard to do a George Lucas impression because basically you have to completely de-energize yourself and slump, and then kind of adopt a little American edge and go, sure. But more fun because I'd forgot. Actually, I don't listen to myself that much. But I'd forgotten there are voices in there, and of course there's dear Sir Alec Guinness. Yes, yes. Because I tell the story in the book about first meeting him on the plane going to Tunisia. I said, Tatooine. I must remember it's Tatooine. Don't want to destroy the magic. Flying to Tatooine with Sir Alec, and he got off the plane ahead of me, but came back and said, "Have they given you your per diem yet?" Well, I had no idea what a per diem was because I'd never been in a movie or anything. He said, "Oh, your pocket money, because they seem to have given me rather a lot, and I think you should have some."
Oh.
And I do at some point do Carrie Fisher, I think, but you don't want to hear that. No, it's not good. But one of the things I do in the book itself, the physical version, and of course I read it in the audio, is I set the scene. So Tatooine, exterior, desert, day. And then what I would be reading as an actor the night before, learning the scenes, knowing that we were obviously on Tatooine, it was going to be a day shot, and we were in the desert. So everybody needs to know this because the lighting, etc., changes. So I do try and put the reader or the listener there on the set with me. Kind of makes it live a bit more like a film.
Well, and I loved your chapter titles too. The chapter titles were very entertaining. And very little Easter eggs, little things.
Thank you for noticing, because I did do the layout of the book, which you can't tell by listening, but physically I wasn't going to have chapters. And then I realized that you do, as a reader, need little, and call them a bus stop, if you will. You're on this journey, and suddenly you've had enough for today, so you're going to stop there. But then I didn't want chapter 3, chapter 4, so I eventually whittled it down to one word, cryptic clues, if you like, and in a lighter font, a grey rather than a black print, so that they didn't bash you in the face,
Yeah.
So there we go. So I did the physical layout as much as the words, and I found that actually quite stimulating. I'd never written a book before, and unfortunately, Decay, who were the publishers, had never published a book like mine, so they had no idea what to do with it. The first draft came back with, it'd have a paragraph from me and then a factoid and a picture, and I'm going, no, it's not. It's not an encyclopedia. It's actually a biography. Oh. Okay, so, we struggled, but we got there. They did a nice cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's half his face and half 3PO's, But thank you for reading it and listening to it. Yeah. Do not listen to it whilst driving or operating heavy machinery. Okay.
I found it, not to contradict you, but I couldn't stop. I read it, 2 days. I started at 8 a.m. one morning, I finished at 8 a.m. the next morning, and I was like, I just couldn't stop listening to it.
That's great.
So good.
For people who haven't read or heard it, what it is not my. It was funny, it's better not to read reviews, but somehow on the computer or YouTube or something, I read a review that was really quite unpleasant because it said, I give it 1 star because Anthony Daniels talks about himself the whole time. It's an autobiography. Biography meaning written, and auto, I assume he's in a car. I don't know, but she didn't understand. It made me howl with laughter. But what was I saying? I can't remember. I've lost track now.
Shouldn't read reviews.
Oh, yeah, but I was going to say something else, and I completely forgot. But thank you for reading it and seeing it. It wasn't my idea to write it, and I will never write a book again. It was a ton of work. But what was great was that one day on the set of The Rise of Skywalker, beloved JJ, we were talking, and I was telling him some stuff, and he looked at me and said, you should write a book. Are you? Because he's very, very sharp. And I said, yes, I am. And would you, JJ, write the foreword? It'd be an honor, he said.
Made me tear up,
And
because
I was writing it during The Rise of Skywalker. You have a lot of time on a film set, sitting around. It's not all action. In fact, very little action often. So apart from, cruising the food stalls and all that kind of thing, having another coffee, reading the newspaper, whatever, having a nap, I had something useful to do. And one day in particular, I was in my Easy Up, which is a little tent next to where you're filming, so you don't have to keep trailing back to the trailer and all that kind of thing. And I was perfectly comfortable with a desk and my computer. And they kept saying, we probably need your knees and feet in a shot with BB-8. And what was that silly little robot that did nothing that looked like a hair? EO, yeah, whatever. So it was merchandising, let's face it. What isn't? Including the book, of course. So all day they kept saying, we may be coming to your feet very shortly. And I'm going, oh, that's fine, I'm tapping away. And at the end of the day, I said, I'm incredibly sorry, we didn't need your feet after all. And I'd written like half a chapter, so I was very, very happy. But what I had to be careful about was that the book was going to come out several months before the movie. So although I'm writing about what we're shooting now, I had to be very careful in describing it in like really roundabout terms, not to give the game away. Because one of the things I don't like in life are spoilers. For spoilers of any kind. I don't know why people do it. They just feel good about, spoiling. Anyway, how are you today?
I'm
because
doing great.
I've been accused of talking too much about myself.
No.
Oh, never. Oh, you can keep talking all you would like.
Okay.
I think, and what's really great about the book, not that I need to pitch it to this audience because they are all Star Wars fans, but I have several people in my life who are not. And I still think it reads so easily and so great for anyone who's interested in pop culture, even in filmmaking, because from the first Star Wars to the last, very different experiences.
You're absolutely right. And what I did, if I may talk about myself for a moment, because you had a go there, and it's quite enough. I realized that as we were shooting episode 9, I did have 9 films. Take them in any order. We've had 9 films to hang various stuff. Imagine like a wardrobe with coat hangers. You had the 9 films, but between them you could put wire hangers in, which talked about filming process, maybe talked about the fans, the 501st particularly, talked about people who swindle by making forgeries and so on, talking about John Williams' music. And in fact, I begin the book not by talking about Star Wars. I talk about the best job I ever had, and that was hosting, and I don't know if people listening were there, around the world pretty much, Star Wars in concert, me on stage with a symphony orchestra and clips from the movies, and the vitality, the joy that used to come from thousands of people in the audience every night. And that's how I begin the book, because it made me realize just how much people love Star Wars. They love it more than me, and it was them who kind of trained me or made me realize that this thing that I was in was way bigger than I'd ever thought. And it gave me, it's like I saw the film suddenly through their eyes. You know, I see it through being on the set and being uncomfortable and go, can we finish? Can you say the lines right just once? Take what, 14? So that was my experience. And therefore I'm a little jaded when you see the finished thing. For people who are not there, they see it as a finished piece. And I got the love of that reflected at me from the audience. And that was a really great experience.
Do you also find when you do conventions like this, that same love, you know, reflecting?
This is the, I did a convention in Chile a month ago or whatever. That was the first, Artem.
Kick him out. Get out here. No. Stormtrooper.
The man in blue. In Chile the other day, it was first of all, miraculously, I was the only Star Wars actor to ever go there, which I just think is astounding. Chile is a wonderful country. It's a long way from England, but not so far from America. But it was the first convention I'd been at for 2.5 years, and I'd forgotten the joy of actually meeting people who love what I'm a part of. And so to come here to Nashville today, you know, it's a good feeling. Not every weekend by any means, but just once in a while, make contact. And I realize that people, fans, shall we say, they see the film and there's nobody to say thank you to. You know, thanks, I really loved that. There's nobody there. You know, there's some, you know, guy who runs the movie theater who could care less. He just wants to sell popcorn, you know. But suddenly there is a person to whom they can express. And it's a kind of human reaction, you know. We give, you like. Suddenly there's nobody to say thank you, you know. So it sorts it out. And many people, and I talk about it in the book because we haven't talked about the book for a couple of minutes now, about the number of people who come up and say, thank you for my childhood. And it took me a while to get it, but I so get it now. Because Star Wars, the original particularly, came out at a seminal time in the world. We're back in other seminal times now. But somehow it clicked into the zeitgeist of the time. I love getting words like zeitgeist into a conversation because I actually have no idea what it really means. It sounds really, really important, doesn't it? Yeah. And it meant a lot in the family life of people who are now grown up and so on, you know, who are, let's face it, at least 50 years older, because it came out 45 years ago. I'm at least 50 years older. Oh, God.
Well, I just want to thank you sincerely for your time, for your book, for C-3PO, just everything that you've given us. I mean, if you look at everyone's face right now, I think it is reflected for you.
Thank you very much.
So, Anthony Daniels, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
May the Force be with you.
And also with you.
This summer, saddle up in Smashville as the Music City hosts the hottest party of the summer, WWE SummerSlam Nashville. For the first time ever at Nissan Stadium, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, a whole lot of kick-ass. WWE SummerSlam, Saturday, July 30th. Tickets on sale now.